allowed to have standards and men are. Women feel like whatever they want is important. They can never ask for enough, but what men want, all of a sudden they're being picky and they're too demanding, and it's unrealistic, and why they want everybody to be perfect.
That's a great question. I've always wondered that, and it's insane if you think about it. And I want you guys to hear me out. A woman can say, and I've heard it myself, I will not date a man under 6 feet. Now, my height has nothing to do with the type of guy I am. Will not determine if I'm a good guy in bed. Will not determine how big my penis is, because, well, if you get to the point where you shack, that thing should be commensurate to his size, and you wouldn't want that if you're a 5'3" woman, I'm assuming. So, it doesn't have anything to do with my checking account unless you say, well, over 6 feet is a higher chance that he's some kind of athlete. I don't know. Studies show that shorter men actually make more money. Why? Because they work harder, because they got to get over that Napoleon complex. But women are still allowed to have that thought. Also, when I was younger, women told me, I will not date a dark-skinned man. There's nothing wrong with that. They would say, I want my baby to have pretty eyes, pretty skin, pretty hair. And they were able to say this, and the man has never been allowed to check a woman on this. A woman has been able to say she want a man with money. Nobody's ever said that woman money struck, although they probably should. But if a man says he only wants to date a woman that's light-skinned, they call him color-struck. Even though we keep saying that one drop of black makes you black. So what is the problem with a man saying that he likes a certain type of black? Do you think I'd walk inside of Baskin-Robbins right now and say, I really like this chocolate ice cream, and a week later I just keep ordering chocolate ice cream, and the person behind the counter would say, hey, you're chocolate struck. You need to try all 31 of these flavors. You think they'd say that? Not at all. They would understand that you have the option and you have a choice. Well, what's the difference between the men and the women, though? Women are allowed to have ideas that they like. Women will tell you, I don't date a man without a job. And all you can do as a man is go get a dadgum job. Women can say they don't date a man who don't know how to dress. He ain't got swag. You know that intangibles something that you have. I don't know what swag is. You can't measure it. But women somehow have a swag meter and you don't fit it. But as a man say that you say you don't want to date. Boris Kojo said, a woman getting fat is against his marriage policy. That's what he said. Said that's grounds for divorce. And women were upset. Why is he not allowed to say that? I mean, ladies, if I was a hard-working man when you met me, and let's say 3-5 years later, I decide I want to enter the Madden tournament. I want to be the Madden king. I want to go back to my college days. And now I'm sitting on the couch all day and playing Madden. I quit my job. Now, if you told your friends, I broke up with him because he don't work no more, they would say, girl, you should have. But I'm not supposed to be able to look at my friends and say I broke up with her because she don't work out no more. I tell women all the time, if you don't work out, then we won't work out. That's just my saying. I need to put that on a t-shirt. But the point is, men have a hard time saying they have standards. A man can say, I will only date women with big breasts. That's shallow. You notice you've never heard a woman called shallow, and there's no one more shallow than women? Everything with a woman is aesthetic. A man in a nice car can get a fine woman. Is that not shallow? A man with a nice suit can get a fine woman. Is that not shallow? I haven't seen too many ugly chicks walking around Hollywood. Why is that? I haven't seen too many ugly chicks on Rodeo Drive. Why is that? I haven't seen too many dudes with nice cars have an ugly chick in the passenger side. So who's more shallow than women? Women are allowed to be so shallow that if they get pregnant by an ugly man, they'll blame it on the other man that they were sleeping with, just because they would rather have that other man who they assume would be either a good father or whatever it is. And no one questions a woman's motives. Yet us as men, we're not allowed to have standards. We can't say we only date women with big butts. We can't say we only date women over 6 feet. We can't say we only date white women. We can't say we only date light-skinned women. The only thing a man can really say is that he only dates dark-skinned women or fat women, because kind of like and people always wonder why I use this description, so I'll do it again. The retarded kids in the class. Well, there's two groups that make the most noise, and you don't really care because you don't. When the retarded kid says, "I won 4 gold medals," no one really cares. I wasn't trying to compete with you in the Special Olympics. But when somebody says that guy won 5 gold medals at the Olympics, everybody gets mad. It's the same thing. No one really cares what dark-skinned women say and what fat women say because they believe that they both need self-esteem. Yet a man can be called fat, and we have to deal with it. Nobody feels bad about a fat man. Nobody feels bad about a broke man. A broke man is made fun of. A man that cannot help take care of his kids is made fun of. A woman that cannot take care of her kids, she's helped by the government. So do we not understand that there's a big problem here, a chasm, as you will, which allows women to be able to have standards and men not? We need to change this. Everybody can have standards and preferences, and then none of it is shallow, because when it comes to dating and marriage, the only person that's going to take that penis is you. So you should be able to pick whoever you want. And if we really believe that dating and marriage was what it was supposed to be, which is for the rest of your life, rich or poor, till death do us part, that kind of stuff, then we would do a better job at picking our mates than we do picking our houses. Have you noticed that a lot of you guys have had houses longer than you had relationships? Your houses last longer than your relationships. Your houses last longer than your marriage. But you take your time out to pick your house. You don't take that same time out to pick a husband, a boyfriend, whatever it is you want. Same way when you go looking for a house or a car or anything else, you should be able to get it, especially if you only get one. Women want men to lower their standards. Here's how you do it. Let me have more than one woman. Let me sleep with a bunch of women. Oh, I'll pick the one with the big breast, the one that's sweet, the one that's cooked. All these, I'd pick them. I'd be okay with it. But if you're asking me to pick just one woman, then understand both of our standards should be high. Not just mine, not just yours. We all have things that are deal breakers. There's nothing wrong with if my deal breaker is you're fat. There's nothing wrong with if my deal breaker is you're dark skinned. And people say, well, you're dark skinned. Yeah, I got a penis too. I don't want my mate to have one. You ever notice how opposites attract? I don't have breasts. I really like breasts. I don't have a butt. I really like a butt. I like vagina. I don't have one. So stop having the stupid logic that because you look and sound and say a certain something, you should want someone to do the same. Because if last I checked, you couldn't put a puzzle together that way. You couldn't put a car together. You couldn't put a team together if everybody did the same thing. So stop being so hard on people that don't want you. The only people that claim somebody else is shallow are the people who didn't get chosen. Please remember that. So as long as women can have standards, men can have standards. Want to do away with standards? Do away with this idea of I can't cheat. But then that's just me.